We are north of Buckhalden in the desert uplands region. We are driving into the property called Adelong. And we meet Jeff and Kate Urquhart, who are driving change on this property.
We've been here about 22 months, coming the end of 19 sort of thing. We're sort of running this 55,000 acres roughly here at Adelong, and we're running a sort of breeder operation sort of thing, and selling weaners at this stage straight off the cow. And
so we just started looking around and formed a list of what we wanted in a property, looked around and Adelong came up.
We run predominantly Brahman cross cows at this stage. We've of late been putting red Angus bulls into the thing, aiming for the southern markets.
So before we even got out here, we jumped online and tried to find out all the information we could using forage and climate, getting our rainfall data, ground cover data, the land type data. So before we even hit the ground, we had a bit of an idea what was actually here on Adelong and Coorabah. We looked around and did some figures on what the return for what we paid, what we could return, and we really liked what was possible out here. We headed out to the desert uplands, and so far we're really impressed. It's been better than we could have expected being out here. We have been lucky. We have had a couple of half okay wet seasons, so we sort of came in at the right time. But certainly, what we're seeing, we're really impressed with what's possible here. I guess when we think about challenges, it goes straight back to when we originally looked at the property. We knew that there was quite a bit of infrastructure that we would want to put in. That was finding a way of mapping that out and actually accurately trying to map distances of fences and that sort of thing, so we could pull a budget together. So for the first 18 months to 2 years that we actually knew what sort of costs we were actually going to hit up front. So we used some mapping tools, computer mapping tools, to measure out distances, so we had a good idea of what we were faced with.
We also used the land type mapping so that we could map to land type and grass species a bit, sort of thing, along those lines.
Knew we had a lot of work ahead of us.
There was a lot of work and a lot of challenges and everything like that, but the cattle were telling us that the country was good, sort of thing. The condition of the cows, the size of the weaners for the season they were having, sort of thing. It gave us a good structure to start with, sort of thing, to work from. There was very minimal fencing, sort of thing, so as to land type or anything like that, so with a lot of fencing and development with waters as well, we could see a lot of potential for upside, sort of thing. The seasons weren't favourable when we came here, and with the uncontrolled movement of cattle from the better countries, the Gidgee type countries, through to the Spinifex, and so the Gidgee type, or the better soils and better pastures, were overutilised, and the Spinifex type country was well and truly underutilised for the reasons of no water really in that country, and all the water being in the better country. We want to spread some more waters around and utilise that better and make it a little bit more user-friendly for the cows. Summertime is fine here, we get a lot of surface water, sort of thing, but come after sort of June, July, that dries back and cattle do have to start to walk. Along Reedy Creek there was a rubber vine issue we noticed when on inspections.
Tackling rubber vine was something we knew we'd have to do, but it wasn't something that put us off or scared us away from moving here.
And we've done approximately, new and repaired, we're getting up around that 70 kilometres of fencing, sort of thing, and we're starting to put some laneways in now for ease of management, and so we can rest country. We're sort of cutting the land types up a bit smaller, sort of thing, so that we can rest without affecting the bottom balance of having to lock up huge amounts of area to get rest, or pasture diversification into it sort of thing. And so that's part of the reason we've cut it up a little bit smaller is to help with that side of things. Desert channels have had a role with helping with all the weeds and the fencing sort of thing. So it's a really good positive outcome, I think, with how everything's going with all that sort of stuff. We're certainly happy with the help we've been given and greatly appreciate it.
We're looking at some erosion issues. Desert channels have also helped us pull in some expert knowledge on and to look at the areas and give us some ideas of how we can start tackling some of those regions of high erosion just on a small basis, not huge costs because we've got so much to do here, but just to get us thinking about what we can do in small scale as well. So yeah, that's been a great help.
Going forward, the future where holes for us is positive at this stage. We want to be an economical, viable proposition to property. We want grass cover, ground cover, which we've sort of, as to date, is going really well. Using long paddock data and everything like that, we're really seeing big changes in the right direction sort of thing. So that's a positive feeling for what we're doing, is all good. Yeah, we want to not only improve the ground cover, we want to improve cattle condition and sort of have us in a position that sort of we can sort of control our seasons with our cattle to suit what rain events we get to then going forward to the thing.
Sustainability of business and the land we run our business on is quite big for me. It's a probably one of my inbuilt aspirations I have. So not only to be able to run the business profitably, but improve the land condition while we're doing it and continually improving it. So setting that bar very high and reassessing constantly where we are. So I don't think we can have a successful grazing business without monitoring our land and improving our land as we go. Sustainability for me with land is like a inbuilt value that I have. So and I think I want to work on when it comes to land. I want to see improving.
Jeff and Kate have analysed the potential of their property using mapping and forage programs. They've partnered with Desert Channels, and Kate says she can see a biodiverse, healthy landscape in the future, given a couple of good wet seasons. Industry, government and Desert Channels Queensland support the grazing industry in managing for change and a sustainable future on the rangelands.